AWS VPN CloudHub is not actually a service that you can go and find in the AWS console. What this really is a pattern, an architectural pattern that you can use when you utilize the AWS site-to-site VPN technology. So let's have a look at the architecture in which you can implement CloudHub. So we've got a VPC and we've implemented a virtual private gateway, a VGW, and that's obviously deployed on the AWS site. We then have multiple customer offices, or these could be customer data centers, but they're different on-premises environments that we want to connect using a virtual private network to AWS. Now, the way that we connect them in a CloudHub topology is using a hub and spoke model. So in other words, AWS is the hub, the VPC, and then the spokes go out to each of these offices. So what we do is we deploy a customer gateway into each of these offices. Each of these customer gateways has a unique BGP ASN, that's a Border Gateway Protocol Autonomous System Number. So BGP is a protocol that you can use for advertising routes to different parts of your network, and each environment has its own ASN, and that corresponds with the routes that would be advertised into the network, so the IP prefixes. So you must have a unique BGP ASN for each office, and then we can establish a VPN connection between each of those customer gateways and the same virtual gateway on the AWS side. Now, network traffic can originate from an office and go to the VPC, or the VPC back to an office, but also it can go between the customer offices or the customer on-premises environments, whether they're offices or data centers. So the customer office here can communicate via the VGW to this customer office here. So we're using the AWS site-to-site VPN to establish a routing topology which connects multiple customer offices as well as the VPC itself. Now, this is using IPsec VPNs, the same VPNs as we just looked at in previous lessons. So that's it, that's VPN CloudHub. As I mentioned, if you go around looking in the AWS console, you won't find CloudHub. But if you actually do a search online, you'll find some articles about this architecture, which can give you a bit more insight as to how it's set up. But basically, we're just connecting multiple customer gateways to a single virtual private gateway. And then it's up to you to configure your BGP protocol accordingly to advertise the routes that you want to advertise into the network. So that's it for a quick overview of CloudHub. I'll see you in the next lesson.